Want to know the best thing about the future? It hasn't happened yet. Okoa, aloha, and welcome back to my channel. This is Greenlit, where I break down the entire plot of a movie and give it my official stamp of judgment: greenlit or puff puff pass. Directed by S.J. Clarkson, Madam Web follows an EMT, Cassie Webb, who develops psychic powers and has the vision that 3 teen girls who eventually become Spider-Women will eliminate an evil Spider-Man. Not the Spider-Man, but a Spider-Man nonetheless. Cassie then makes it her mission to protect these 3 strangers, even though she really doesn't care for children. This video is split into sections, so feel free to use the chapters below. Madame Web is a story of fate, motherhood, spiders, and chosen family. Watching this movie felt like a fever dream. It felt like I was seeing things and seeing nothing all at once. If Argyle flopped because of no studio intervention, then Madame Web flopped because of too much studio intervention. Or maybe it was an even balance of poor creative and poor executive decisions. Whatever the case, it certainly didn't turn out how anyone imagined. I think it's high time we dive into this movie, so sit back, take a hit, and let's swing into this spectacle. 1973 Peruvian Amazon. Constance Webb is researching a rare spider alongside her coworker Ezekiel Sims. She's pregnant and a bit weak, but she pushes through. While Sims takes pictures with a tiny camera, Constance runs back into camp saying, "I found the spider." In that moment, Sims turns on the entire team and shoots them all dead. In a struggle, Sims shoots Constance, grabs the spider, and leaves her for dead. That's right, he shot a pregnant woman for a CG spider. From the trees, a tribe of hidden warriors, Las Arañas, thought to be a myth, emerge and grab Constance, traversing the forest as if this was a Twilight sequel, bringing her to their secret cave. They place her into a pool where they use the same spider to bite Constance, just as she pops her daughter all the way out. We love a water birth. Before dying, Constance sees her baby and is told by the tribe chief that the girl will be meant for something. 2003 Queens, New York. The baby grows up to be Cassandra Cassie Webb, working as a paramedic alongside Ben Parker. Let me say that again. Working alongside Ben Parker. Cassie races through the city in her ambulance. She is serious about her job and she is not letting anyone get in the way. She narrowly kills several people, including a teen who was skateboarding across the street, to which the teen says, "But in that moment, it's as if time stood still." Cassie and Ben make it to the hospital where the son of the patient gives Cassie a drawing as thanks for helping his mom. But Cassie is weird and awkward about it until Ben says, "Bitch, take the drawing." Basically, she hates kids. I don't know why she's an EMT, but hopefully her subconscious does. Cassie and Ben share a meal of takeout together, and Ben invites her to his sister-in-law's baby shower. Cassie hasn't met her, but Ben probably thinks it's a good idea that she make friends. Ben then tells her that he met someone, and after a dramatic sigh, wow, it must be serious. So he doesn't say her name, but we can surmise that he's talking about Aunt May. Ben pulls out a fortune cookie. It says, "You have a winning personality." He turns to Cassie. "Let's see what the future holds for you." She says, "What if I don't want to know?" She's referring to a fortune cookie that randomly prints generic phrases about life. It's not that serious. Cassie opens hers and it's incomplete. Her fortune reads, "You will blank." There's a block of ink. It says nothing. An incomplete fortune. Probably not good luck. Next is a dramatic shot of Cassie jaywalking in her signature red coat that she'll come to love over the next few days. She enters her apartment where her first thought is, "Oh, I must open the window and feed the community stray. That's the first thing I've got to do when I get home." Yeah. She's not tired at all. We swing over to Ezekiel Sims, who now lives coincidentally in New York. He's haunted every night by a dream in which 3 spider women attack him and kill his ass. He sleeps with an undercover NSA agent who he tells all of this to. Listen, if I was his one-night stand, I wouldn't want to be hearing about all this. See, he's lured her to his apartment so he can extract the super secret password to the extremely confidential program that tracks everyone in the US using patented face scanning technology. The biggest enemy she's got is Edward Snowden, but that is all about to change. After he tells her that he knows who she really is, he uses his power inherited by a rare spider that he stole to poison her ass. Even though he said, baby, if you give me the password, you won't die. I've got the antidote. But spoiler, she does the one thing that she is not supposed to do and gives him the password, and guess what? She still dies. Damn it! Cassie and Ben respond to an emergency. It's a car dangling off a bridge as if we've never seen that before. Although they manage to get the driver out, guess the fuck what? Cassie gets stuck in the car, and there it goes straight into... I can't even get through this. I cannot even get through this. She gets stuck in the car goes off the bridge into the water. A powerful force envelops Cassie and appears to activate something inside of her. She sees and hears things. She doesn't quite understand. Everything is happening all at once, everything everywhere. Very much like what they did with Deadpool. Put someone under a crazy amount of stress, and that will hopefully activate their dormant mutant DNA. She's finally revived by Ben, who somehow made it all the way down into the water, grabbed her out, brought her back to life, and here we are. This vision, by the way, has intense foreshadowing of the events that will occur in the future. We'll see a lot more of this kind of foreshadowing in this movie. So, buckle your fucking seatbelts. As Ben tends to her to make sure that she's okay, she says, I just want to go home and watch Idol. Baby girl, you just fell off of a bridge, almost drowned to death, and all you want to do, okay. Sure. Cassie later goes to the baby shower for Ben's sister-in-law, Mary. Again, this is their first time meeting. Like every baby shower ever held, they play cute little baby games. Cass, it's low pressure. You don't even have to talk. Of course, just the presence of a pregnant woman triggers her. During the games, she mentions to everyone how her mother died in childbirth, makes everybody uncomfortable. Let me reenact it for you. My mom's actually dead. My mom actually died in childbirth. She points at Mary. Points at her. Cassie also experiences a moment that she thought already happened, but she chalks it up to deja vu. Of course. A fire breaks out in a nearby building, and Cassie says, oh, thank God, saved by the fire. Obvious foreshadowing, still happening, still killing me. But I kind of love it. A fire has broken out at the old Pepsi building in Queens, which happens to be the warehouse of thousands of unused fireworks that no one has touched for years. Cassie and Ben respond to the emergency as if they were called by Zordon himself. And while Cassie is tending to an injured man, she has a vision. She's standing over the body of her coworker with his blood on her hands. Bam! She snapped back to the present. This vision was so disorienting, it even had me a little queasy. Physically unwell. Realizing something is going to happen, she tries to convince O'Neill to let her drive the ambulance that he is supposed to drive. But he tells her to hang back. Don't worry about me. She tells him multiple times, I have a bad feeling about this. Not even 10 seconds later does a truck smash right into O'Neill. And he's dead before Cassie can even get to him. She tries CPR, and that's when she gets his blood all over her hands. Just like the vision. Sims works with his assistant, Amaria, to track down his potential killers using that face scanning technology. They land on 3 teenagers, Julia Cornwall, Anya Corazon, and Martha Maddie Franklin. Amaria somehow rendered what Ezekiel was seeing in his dreams, which was definitely not a screenshot from another part in the film, and using the tech realistically creates what the teens would look like without their spider costumes on. Perfect, now we can track them through the city. So Cassie's fucked up and goes to see a doctor. She tells her, I'm seeing things. The doctor says, no, your eyesight is good. No, doc, I'm seeing things that other people are not seeing. Oh yeah, that's normal. You're probably developing psychic abilities. Go home and watch some old movies, preferably The Sixth Sense. And you should feel back to normal in a few days. A despaired Cassie goes back to her apartment and fears She cannot control what she sees. She then has another vision where a bird flies into her window and smashes the bitch, dying upon impact. Realizing it's a vision, she walks over to the window, opens it, lets the bird fly in, lets the bitch land on something, and fly right out. She finally realizes she can change her fate. She really let a dirty-ass pigeon fly into her apartment, land, and fly out. I would be fabulosoing that entire place immediately. Immediately! Cassie then feels like, I gotta get out of town. So she goes to the train station. One for Poughkeepsie, please. Oh, she's just gotta clear her head. She boards the train just as 3 teens are boarding the same exact one. Oh, what are the odds? There must be something that connects them. Side note, her long black hair in this scene is everything. Her bangs are banging. She has a vision that Sims interrupts her peaceful train ride and kills the girls. Oh! She has to stop this. No, I will not let this happen. I care about children now. She quickly gets them all off the train. But the girls don't know her. They think that she's trying to kidnap them. Excuse me, who are you, crazy lady? I think you had a little bit too much of your special juice today. It isn't until they see Sims crawling on the ceiling in a black Spider-Man outfit, and they see him attacking and killing police officers, that was unnecessary, that they realize we are in danger. Cassie steals a cab and convinces them to join her. After they manage to escape Sims and get through their awkward introductions, Cassie brings them to the woods and tries to explain to them the visions that she is having. The 3 girls realize that they know Cassie in some way. Julia is the stepdaughter of the woman of the little boy who gave the drawing to Cassie earlier in the movie. Anya lives in Cassie's building, and Maddie was the one who flipped Cassie off at the beginning of the movie. Cassie then leaves the girls in the woods so she can investigate, and so that Sims can't find them. Cassie goes back to her apartment and rummages through her mother's old things. Hope the spiders were worth it, Mom. Meanwhile, the girls in the woods get restless and bored. So Maddie convinces them to go to a nearby diner and grab some food. That's when they meet some boys and start dancing on tables. Just sit down, eat your steak fries, and wait for your psychic stranger to come back and protect you? Where are their parents? Their parents really don't care? Cassie returns to the woods and the girls are gone. Where the fuck could they be? She sees a vision of them. At the diner, Sims arrives, kills them all. Oh my god, it's happening again. I must save the girls. She rushes to the diner, but Sims makes it there first. Her adrenaline is rising, and before she can reach the girls, Cassie crashes through the front of the diner and nails Sims. The girls run to the car and flee, where Cassie chastises them for not listening to her. She's really starting to feel like a mother now. At the same time, Sims learns from Amaria that Cassie Webb is Constance's daughter. Cassie has the smart idea to bring the girls to a motel, to properly hide them. They then explain their situations as to why their parents don't give a fuck where they are. See, they have nowhere else to go. Julia's mother is in a psych ward, and her father remarried to a woman that Julia feels doesn't even want her around. Anya's mother died when she was young, and her father got deported while she was at school, and she's afraid that the same thing will happen to her. Maddie's father is a wealthy but crooked politician, and she really doesn't want anything to do with him. Cassie decides that she needs to dig deeper to figure out what is going on and how to stop this man. So she does the logical thing that anyone would do: leave the girls with Ben. He might as well start practicing his babysitting. It's crazy that Cassie leaves them once again. For a woman with abandonment issues, she sure does leave a lot. She goes back to the diner where she experiences a psychic connection to Sims. They have a conversation. She's like, why are you trying to kill these girls? He's like, because in the future, they're gonna kill me. And she's like, oh my god, I don't think they're capable of that. And he's like, well, not yet. Frustrated, she flies to Peru because she needs answers. When she was rummaging around her mother's old things, she found a photo of her and Ezekiel Sims in the forest. So she goes to Peru and visits the location that Constance was researching right before she died. She somehow finds the chief of Las Arañas, who brings her to the cave where she was born. It's all coming full circle. He separates her spirit from her physical form, which causes her to see visions of her mother while she was alive and pregnant. Although she grew up believing that her mother didn't want her, she sees that actually Constance was doing everything in her power to make sure that Cassie was born a healthy child. Because you see, she was at risk of developing a fatal disease, and Constance was researching spiders to combat that condition. Cassie finally realizes that she's resented her mother her entire life for absolutely no reason. Now we see why she's single and has no friends. Well, except Ben. Maybe she should get with Ben. Cassie returns to her body, and the chief leaves her with some parting wisdom. When you take on the responsibility, the power will come. Wise words. Never heard those words put together quite like that. After that interesting experience, Cassie's on her way home. Back in New York, Mary's water breaks, because of course it does. And Ben has to drive all the ladies to the hospital. They could have stayed home, but they wanted in on the action. To disguise their appearances so Ezekiel doesn't find them, they simply pop up their hoods. Yep, that'll do it. Oh, but strangely, Amaria gets a scan on the girls, and Sims starts making his way toward them. Cassie has made it back to the States in her smashed, stolen taxi when she looks in and realizes nobody's home. She sees the pregnancy puddle, and that triggers a vision. Sims is on his way to kill the girls once again! Oh, 3 strikes, you're out. She devises a plan. Instead of getting back into her stolen taxi, she steals an ambulance. That's more her style. She races to save them. Sims catches up with them, and just as he's about to detonate a grenade to kill them all, Cassie crashes through a Calvin Klein billboard at the exact moment and saves everyone. She somehow calculated the exact position that this man would be in, and she would have missed him if it weren't for him jumping out of the way. He jumped right into her way. She's thinking, yep, I saw it just like this. I mean, she could have missed him by a few inches, but because of his leap, she got him spot on. But hey, if she wouldn't have done that, there would be no Spider-Man. So, thank you. She grabs the girls. Ben and Mary are off to the hospital. And now they have to race around New York City because she might have hit Sims, but he's still alive. Cassie works with the girls to keep Sims off their back by shocking the car with that heart machine, with the cardiac. They do that to the entire car, and yet they're all fine, but he gets shocked on the roof. Realism. Cassie then radios for a chopper, as if she's never worked as an EMT a day in her life. I'll demonstrate. I have a code 30PD 36307 requesting airlift support Dockside, Queens. Very specific. Yeah, they'll definitely find you. She has a vision. She knows exactly what to do. She has the girls set off flares into explosive crates for when Sims arrives. This is the warehouse from earlier that caught on fire, with all those dormant fireworks just sitting there, ready for a final battle. The fire somehow did not set off those fireworks. I don't know how, but it didn't. But now the fireworks start going off, and the girls are running through the warehouse like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? There's an awesome shot, probably the best in the film, where this dark Spider-Man is slinging through the warehouse, flying through the air as fireworks go off behind him. The girls reach a dead end. Well, that is until a stray firework blasts into the brick wall, a hole just big enough to get the girls out. Although they try to get to higher ground to meet the chopper, Sims shoots it down. It's now a standoff between Cassie and Sims. The girls attempt to help Cassie, but they all find themselves on the edge of glory. They're hanging on for their lives. Sims taunts Cassie. You can't save them all. And in that moment, everyone's life flashes before her eyes, and she remembers what Las Arañas taught her. She knows exactly what to do. Cassie astral projects herself to save each girl. Except Maddie doesn't even really need her help. All she does is come over and say, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, sweetie. You got this." While she physically helps the other 2 girls from falling to their deaths. In this process, she has led Sims into a trap. The warehouse is starting to collapse. The sign is shaking, and Sims gets trapped under falling debris. Cassie tells him that the visions weren't warning him about the girls. They were warning him about her. We get shot after shot of this rickety S of the sign shaking. Sims plummets to his death, where he is then crushed by a falling Pepsi sign. You may think it was that rickety S, but you would be wrong! It was the P! Cassie falls into the river, back to the water from whence she came. She notices that the rickety S has followed her. What could it stand for? Spiders? SOS? Slay? One of the fireworks darts through the water and blinds her. It's probably that badass one that blew a hole through the brick wall. Julia jumps into the river to get Cassie before Anya and Maddie administer CPR, allowing them to revive her. At the hospital, the girls gather around Cassie's bedside, grateful to one another for saving their lives. A nurse comes in and goes, "Are you all immediate family?" To which Cassie replies, "Yes. They're all mine." Meanwhile, Mary gives birth to a healthy boy. His name is never said, but it's obvious he will one day become a certain famous web slinger. Cassie is left blind and paralyzed below the waist. But she has taken in Julia, Anya, and Maddie to live together in her apartment because their parents don't care about them. And it's totally not weird for a 30-something to take in 3 teens who have shared trauma. After all, Cassie was an orphan, so she can now be the mother she never had and never thought she'd be. In this scene, Cassie is serving chic Professor X realness in her Mobility Mary scooter and her luxury glasses. Cassie tells them of another vision she has, in which the 4 of them don their suits to become super-powered crime fighters. Julia asks, "Mama, how's your eyesight, you blind bat?" To which Madame Webb replies, "I can see better than ever." Cassie smiles as she looks to the future. Want to know the best thing about the future? It hasn't happened yet. Cut to black! Madame Webb is a strange, slow, and disappointing film that failed on so many levels. I like a lot of movies that people don't like. If a movie is entertaining, I'm there. Not every film needs to be a groundbreaking cinematic masterpiece. But this film was far from anything I'd ever watch again. I could barely even get through it for this video. Based on my set of 10 film criteria and the extra credit earned by this movie, this film officially receives a stamp of puff puff pass. I wouldn't go out and spend money on this film, and it's rare that I say what I'm about to say, but I wouldn't even give it a chance on streaming. There are so many other movies worth your time. Check out more of my reviews in that card up there. There's plenty more on the way. Dune Part 2. It's crazy that these movies came out within weeks of each other. Until next time, see you at the movies. Mahalo for watching. Bye.